Along with retired NFL player and commissioner on the Commission of the Social Status of Black Men and Boys, Jack Brewer. Thank you both for being with us. Dr. Swain, I want to start with you. If a Republican praised a racist the way that Hillary Clinton praised Dr. Sanger, there would be all sorts of people talking for their cancellation. Why don't more people know about that? Why don't they get called out the way that Republicans would?
If Republicans supported Planned Parenthood, they would be accused of genocide because if they, the abortion agenda is a genocidal agenda. And what the Democrats have cleverly done is to convince Black women that somehow they are on their side and that the progressive agenda is something that is in the interests of Black people.
Jack, let me ask you this. Why do you think clergy members continue to partner with Planned Parenthood? When we were doing this series, I learned so much about not only their racist history, but that these clergy members, people who are supposed to be talking about God and life and all of his vision, are partnering with an organization that seeks to end life and, frankly, is racist.
You're right, Sean, but the Bible teaches us about false prophets and that they will rise up across the world, and that's what we're seeing right now. You bring up a great point, and it's a sad one. You know, it's a sad one. You're seeing the results of this. You see the black population now is the most fatherless population in the state of Pennsylvania now, almost 1 million fatherless kids. You have over 18.5 million fatherless kids across the country. And so the order of God has been challenged from the highest levels, and that's starting with the clergy members. Unfortunately, sometimes when you take the most underserved, voiceless population, they're eaten from the inside, no differently than the chiefs that put the slaves on the slave trade. And now we have false teachers and false prophets running our churches and community centers that are pushing this child sacrifice upon our land. It really is sick. I think the spiritual effects of this are something that we cannot deny. There's a curse on people of color in the United States of America because of these abominations that are happening before our eyes, and people like Hillary Clinton in the left that really take advantage. I mean, I was fooled when I was a young kid, 15, 16 years old, lied to that babies aren't formed yet, and until this day and age, they're not alive. And just this antichrist doctrine that was taught to me and so many other folks in the inner city areas and folks in communities that don't truly understand what's going on. And so the vision of Margaret Sanger right now is alive and well in the country. And hopefully our Supreme Court justices rise up to put an end to one of the most horrific atrocities happening in the United States of America.
And it's important communities is right. Well, Dr. Swain, Sean mentioned this. When you look at 80% of Planned Parenthoods are in minority communities, I mean, that's concerning. And that Black women are having 36% of abortions, only make up 13% of the population. How do you end this cycle?
Yes, and Black women, it was 37% of the abortions. And they are cooperating with the people that are actually trying to destroy Black people. That's the progressives. And whether it's defund the police when the Black community's murder rate, Black on Black murder rate is astronomical, it shows that there is a devaluation of life in the Black community. They are cooperating with progressives that have no interest in Black lives. In fact, they're more interested in population control. And I think you would end it with education. The Black church has failed Black people because the pastors have sold out to the Democratic Party. They're very adept and very efficient at greasing the palms of a few people to get them to cooperate. And so we have a situation where there's no spiritual leadership in the Black community. The Black elites have no real interest in Black people. They're interested in advancing themselves and their political agenda. And so the Black community is leaderless, except for organizations like the Woodson Center. And there are other organizations that work in the communities at the grassroots level. They are helping Black communities. And there's so many Black leaders that you never see on TV that are out there in the trenches. They care. But for the most part, the ones that you see on TV that are associated with the Democratic Party, they're about advancing themselves and that progressive, destructive agenda that is genocidal for the Black community.
You know, Jack, Senator Tim Scott, he was born into poverty. He's been very outspoken about this in a recent op-ed, writing about it, saying if abortion is our first and best answer to ensure that women of low income and their families can thrive, then we're in a very dark place. So you talked about you believed this narrative. How did you stop believing this narrative? What did it take? Only have about 30 seconds for you, sadly.
It took salvation to Jesus Christ, and like Tim said, the majority of my cousins and family members were born into poverty. We didn't come from money. My mom and dad went to segregated schools, had an outhouse up until 1972. But I want to say to Mr. Swain, also organizations like mine, the Jack Brewer Foundation, we work in the prisons, in the juveniles. We're taking the fatherless kids, the most underserved, voiceless kids across America, and we're trying to give them hope and show them that this is an America that has a dream that they can all live to, aspire to accomplish, if they just set their minds to it and don't believe anybody that they're oppressed. And so we try to do that through the word of God and bringing back morality to our country. We have a sin problem in our country when we can look at sin happening before our eyes and not stand up for righteousness according to the word of God. That's where our problems come from.
All right. Dr. Carol Swain, Jack Brewer, thank you for the truth that you spoke here tonight. Thanks for your time.
God bless you.